in a sarcastic way.
Right.
Sarcastic animation. Can't you tell?
We've lost him. Now he's just trying to solve this problem.
You call that animation? Of course not. It's sarcastic animation.
Seeing a lot of people who are saying they want to put their video on Twitter now.
They can.
Tucker Carlson is going to do his show on Twitter, right? And that wasn't like a deal you worked out. You said it wasn't.
There's no deal at all. And
You recommended it to Don Lemon too. Did he respond? Did he say he's going to do it?
I don't know. Actually, I haven't looked it up. But in general, I think it would be cool.
Yeah.
So, I mean, he you know, we did talk, and he just asked me like, if he does something on Twitter, will we censor it? And I was like, well, no, we believe in like the First Amendment and Second Amendment too. Well, for protecting the First Amendment.
Amen.
Exactly, amen. So he just wanted to confirm that, like, we wouldn't sort of like suspend his account or whatever. And I said, well, as long as it's like, as long as it's lawful, and then we will not suspend the account. So
That was enough for him to say. This is
just you want to confirm. You want to confirm that is the free speech.
He wasn't concerned about monetization. We want monetization. That's how can we make money?
I think Tucker's actually in a pretty good financial position. I think he's not like struggling to pay the mortgage. No. So I mean, I did say like that we've got the subscriptions thing, and that we will be also sharing ad revenue with creators. Kind of normal stuff, really. In order for someone to put their video on Twitter as well as say YouTube, then they need to at least make money on that, like equivalent amount of money, or maybe more on Twitter, ideally.
Yeah, because we make about $27 a month on Facebook video.
Nice.
YouTube's only a little bit better.
Are you serious?
We don't make much on Facebook.
Facebook's
it's very weak
little.
for us.
Yeah,
Very
Facebook's
weak.
really bad on the monetization.
Okay.
Yeah.
YouTube's a little bit better, but still not. Nowhere near the number of views you're getting. You'll get millions and millions of views, especially on these shorts videos, and they throw pennies your way. So what is the plan for Twitter video monetization for users?
Well, we obviously have subscriptions, and I subscribe to the
Yeah.
video course.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Can you look at that camera and say, subscribe to the Babylon?
Subscribe to the Babylon Bee.
There we go.
You won't regret it. So
All right, the interview's done. We got what we needed.
so we have subscriptions, obviously. We're also going to be surfacing tweets that are subscription tweets where you see the first line.
We saw that, didn't
Seeing
we?
it already, yeah.
Yeah. So that's going to be really a big deal for growing subscriber base, because people want to kind of see like, what is this tweet,
Right.
So we'll keep like providing tantalizing content that is for subscribers only. I think it'll take a moment for users to get used to it, but the rate of growth of subscriptions is crazy. Like I mean, this is the fastest I've seen anything grow. It's like wildfire. So I think it's going to be good. So there's subscriptions, and then there's a share of advertising revenue. We just really need to complete writing the software for figuring out like what ads were associated with what content, and then figure out like some reasonable revenue share. And from the date that I said we would compensate creators, we will backdate it to that and send people checks.
So with the advertisers, are the advertisers that paused back for the most part, are you continuing to see problems with them being concerned about your free speech stance? And the new hire that you have coming in as CEO, is she going to be addressing some of those issues and trying to work with advertisers to make sure that they feel comfortable on the platform? But then also, how do you balance that with a commitment to free speech? That's kind of a...
Yeah, so I mean, I think it's reasonable for an advertiser to decide what content they appear next to. We'll make sure that their ad doesn't appear next to something controversial or whatever they consider controversial. So I mean, some things are fairly obvious. Like you don't want, say, a kids movie showing up next to some racy content of some kind, like NSFW stuff. So, or come visit Disneyland next to dead bodies in Ukraine.
Right.
It's like that's where it's reasonable to have these adjacency controls. Just like advertisers could pick a particular time of day to advertise if they're going to advertise, up through I don't know whatever it is 8 or 9 p.m. versus like a midnight advertisement is going to be different. So, just we have those controls in place for the advertisers, and we said like, look, there's freedom of speech, but not freedom of reach necessarily. So it's like if somebody, we have to be careful that doesn't become dystopian. But people can basically say what they want to say. But if a lot of verified accounts flag it as questionable content, then it will not get amplified. So we're doing it, like I said, do need to make sure this doesn't have bad effects.
This new hire, though, there's been people, you made kind of both sides mad about it, right? You got people on the left who are mad for their reasons. You have people on the right who are mad for their reasons. You seem satisfied with that outcome because it means that, if you've got people on the fringes on both sides upset, then you're doing something right?
Yeah.
But when it comes to
LGBTQ and QAnon simultaneously upset,
I was thinking
that's why I think things go full circle. LGBT QAnon could probably get me in trouble.
If you probably will. You were saying you want to speak your mind even if it costs you something. You want to be able to say what you want even if it costs you something. You said that very emphatically in that interview you just did.
Sure.
And so that matters to you a lot. And that so in a context where you've got like a new CEO coming in who's going to be taking over, and you want everybody else to have that same freedom to be able to say what they want, even if it costs them something personally in their lives or whatever, to have that freedom. It would seem to me that the number one thing you'd be looking for is someone who's going to come in and be as committed to free speech as you are. That trumps even advertising revenue, in your view, if you're willing to lose money to be able to personally speak freely. Then
we've also lost money, advertising money, because some advertisers got community noted.
Right.
And we wouldn't take the community note down.
Right. So
we lost $40 million in advertising because of that.
Because the big ones pulled out. Because
of community notes and refusing to pull community notes.
That was a willingness to lose money.
Yes, we literally just lost $40 million.
Right.
It's not an approximation.
Will things change along those lines? Will there be more willingness to compromise to keep the revenue, to keep coming in from these big advertisers? Is that a concern of yours?
No, I think we've actually largely addressed the concerns of the advertisers. A lot of them weren't necessarily against me taking over Twitter. They just weren't sure what it would look like. Is it are there sharks in the water or what? Is there going to be rampant disinformation? Is it going to be some massive right-wing takeover or what? So they were just uncertain. And I think we're getting to the point here where they're and a lot of them use Twitter every day, and it's obviously not filled with hate speech. Anyone who uses it knows that.
Well, the media keeps trying to say that. They keep publishing these articles. Hate speech is on the rise. Hate speech is on the rise.
2,000%.
Yeah, it's totally false.
Hate speech.
Yeah, it's completely false. The view counts are down by a third, maybe a half, and that's despite usage of the all-time record usage of Twitter.
And how do they define hate speech is a big question mark, I think.
Well, it turned out one of the hate speech terms was literally George Soros.
His name.
Yes, just saying it. We count it as a hate speech thing. So I thought, well, maybe the definition is a little broad.
Yeah.
So calling him Magneto is considered hate speech.
I mean, it's it's
not love
speech.
speech.
It's a comic book, It's let's relax, Joel. It's not the end of the world here.
Does that make you Professor X, or who's Professor X in this?
Well, I do know a lot of smart people. I think we'll be fine. I think the advertisers at this point are comfortable with the fact that Twitter is going to be fair and not sort of a haven of hate type of thing. And they've used it enough for themselves at this point to, like, they know that from their usage, it's actually fine. We've vastly reduced the amount of spam and scam stuff that happens on Twitter. It's quite rare at this point to see spammers, whereas my feed used to be filled with them before. I think we're not going to make all advertisers happy, but I think we'll make most of them happy, and there'll be enough that are happy that to support this platform. But we're not going to compromise on free speech.
Well, and you see Twitter as more than social media. You've got X and the everything, and
Yeah,
what is the future vision for them?
Some of that will be fulfillment of the vision I had for X.com 24 years ago, which was to be an all-encompassing financial services provider, and that's actually an important part of freedom as well. If those doing the money exchange or running the money system can stop people who disagree with them politically, that's a huge problem. I mean, so that happened in Canada with the trucker strike, where people were being basically financially ostracized from society for just being a peaceful strike. I saw some strange things with PayPal, where they were suspending accounts that they for what appeared to be political reasons. I don't know if you saw any of that.
Yeah.
So so there has to be freedom of information. That's it. But money is a form of information. So I think it's important that we have a within the bounds of the law that we enable freedom of flow of money, which is a form of information.
And you see that living on Twitter eventually. It's part of X.
Yeah. I think we need to broaden the branding.
Yeah.
Twitter made sense as a name. If people are sending, texts, basically group texts at 140 characters a piece between each other, that's kind of a short thing, a tweet, not a long thing. But at the point at which you've got not just text, but pictures, video, live interaction, a full array of financial services, a full array of communications, encrypted communications, voice, video, everything. Twitter, I think, is the wrong branding for that. I believe in descriptive branding. So, whereas X is kind of, X can mean anything. So X marks the spot. X is where the treasure is. XXX is where the porn is.
We're Christians. We're Christians, so we wouldn't know.
Yeah. X-rated. But I think in general, the goal here is let's just make sure we take the actions that strengthen the pillars of democracy and further civilization. We want to have a future we can look forward to. That we're excited about the future, not one where we're sad about it. So, and the civilization is more fragile than people realize. If you study the rise and fall of civilizations in history, when they're at the top, they never think they're going to fall.
But they always do, eventually.